Well, welcome everybody. It's an honor to speak to you today about a topic near and dear to my heart, and that's principle-centered leadership. I've had the pleasure and pain of being in a leader position for almost 40 years at different multinational companies. I've led dimensional engineering teams, design engineering teams, total vehicle teams, and my last job before retiring and joining DCS, I was the global design for Six Sigma leader at General Motors. The key to success in all those jobs was leveraging the teams that I had and working with others to achieve business results that exceeded expectations and provided business success. I developed a servant leader mentality, leading and mentoring. Today, I want to provide you with some insight to enable you to achieve your goals and objectives as well and exceed expectations. So how can we do this? I've mentioned it before of being a leader-centric servant leader. What many people want to do is focus on tools and methods. And I found that principle-centered leadership will take you farther and faster than any tool and method could possibly do. And I'm going to today map from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People to everyday habits that engineers can use to improve their business results on the day-to-day shop floor. So we'll talk a little bit about the tools and methods. We'll talk about principle-centered leadership, and then I'm going to get into the 7 habits of highly effective engineers. You know, tools and methods are great. I love tools and methods. And what many people ask me are what are the most important tools an engineer should learn and use. And they're usually looking for a small set of 1 or 2 tools. And I always say, you know, you're asking the wrong question. Don't focus on tools and methods. Tools and methods will only take you so far. Now, they're great. Don't get me wrong. In all of my roles, I've used a myriad of tools and methods. And in most of the roles, I develop new materials, new tools and new methods, or stretch the old ones. I love learning, creating, applying tools and methods. Some trusty old ones and some really dynamic new ones. However, focusing on tools and methods isn't going to get you there. Tools and methods are great, but they only take you so far, and they frequently can be misused. People grab the wrong tool for the wrong application, like I've shown here with the hammer and a screw. And then nothing good ever happens with that. So I always say that's really the wrong questions. I like tools and methods, but let's focus on the right thing. And the right thing is focusing on principle-centered leadership. Principle-centered leadership is a framework to hang all your tools and methods in, and it will get you a lot farther and a lot faster than any tool and method would. Principle-centered leadership usually is using these time-worn, time-proven, fundamental truths that drive what you do and how you will act and how you will impact others. And that's the key. So what we want is a set of principles that drive our behaviors, and we make sure we're doing the right thing at the right time, at the right place to reach the right goals. With that, we can make huge strides and impacts on the business. Now, Isaac Newton once said, if I had been able to see further, it was only because I stood on the shoulders of giants. Likewise, I don't want to compare myself to Isaac Newton, but I too am able to stand on the shoulders of giants. I've had a lot of great leaders in my time, people who taught me so many things and helped me become a better leader and helped my career path grow. And one of those leaders sent me to a class at a key moment in my life. You know, I was transitioning to an expanded leadership role, And at the same time, I was learning to manage the complexity of life with a toddler, and my son Andrew's little sister was on the way, and we had just moved to a new city, and life was a bit of a struggle. And my boss at the time recognized that, and he sent me to a class that changed my life for the better. And in fact, that class changed my life not just for the better, but forever. And that class was the 7 Habits of the Highly Effective Person. My talk today is about the highly effective engineer, but it's based on the 7 habits of the highly effective people. It was written by Stephen Covey in 1989. It had 7 habits that people have learned, and I hope many of you have at least heard of this. And then in 2004, he wrote another book called The 8th Habit, which was subtitled Find Your Voice, Inspire Others to Find Theirs. I've discovered that many of the top leaders I work with also shared that same class, and that same class shaped the trajectory of their careers as well. So I thought this would be a good thing to talk about today. I was asked to talk about lessons learned over a career, and I thought, what is the most important lessons? And I think this is it. Now, Stephen Covey's huge bestseller is still on the bestseller list. It's taught many places. I know my grandchildren are learning this in their elementary school. The 7 habits of being proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Put first things first. Think win-win or no deal. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Synergize and sharpen the saw. These are just time-worn, awesome principles to guide your work on a day-to-day basis. I strongly encourage you to buy the book or find the book and reread the book if you can. It's just a great lesson. Now, I don't think I want to just go over the book by itself. I'm going to be very specific, and I thought I would provide a subset of ways to apply 7 habits to an engineer or engineering leader role. And these are things that helped me and many of my friends who have senior leadership positions at major corporations all agree will help you get business results quickly and efficiently. So these are the 7 habits of the highly effective engineer. I've taken each of Covey's and translated it slightly to introduce a key topic that can drive great behavior. So be proactive is don't be afraid to fail. But if you're going to fail, fail fast and fail cheap. Begin with the end in mind. What does that mean? Where do we begin? Well, let's begin by using the scientific method. Putting first things first. Hey, Pareto was right. Let's use the 80-20 rule to drive what we work on, when we work on, and where we work on. Think win-win or no deal. That is, be driven by data, but not, or be data-driven rather, but not driven by data. It's just a subtle change, and we'll talk about that. Seek first to understand, then be understood. Hey, talk less and listen more. This is the hardest one for me because I can be a bit of a talker, but I'll talk a little bit about this as we go on. Synergize, relationships matter. Sharpen the saw, master the physics of your product or process. Sharpen the saw was really, just keep hone your skills, keep working and making things better, do some maintenance. I'm going to tell you, as an engineer, the most important thing you can master and maintain is the understanding of physics of the product or process you're working on. And then inspire others, the 8th habit, and that is to be a mentor. So on the following slides in the following few minutes, I'll share with you. I'd like to go into each one a little more detail. This is one of my favorite quotes. It's from Michael Jordan, the all-time great basketball player. Unfortunately, I'm from Detroit, and he played for the Bulls, and we had some great battles between the Pistons and Bulls. But you had to respect this guy. He was just incredible. He said, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why success.